Okay. Hey everyone. Tonight I want to talk about a topic, the difference between birthers and everyone else. And I just want to share my thoughts, and you may have some additional thoughts. But one idea that came to me is that birthers are generally God-fearing people. Because if you're a God-fearing individual, you're going to want to do what's right, independent of other people making fun of you or calling you names. If you're a God-fearing folk, you're just going to do what's right. And you know that Obama forging that birth certificate and not having two parents that's American citizens, you know that's wrong. And you know it's against the Constitution, so you want to stand up for justice because you know that we should not have a foreign entity as commander-in-chief of our military, and you know what was done to Lieutenant Colonel Terry Lakin was wrong. And so you're just a person who wants to stand up for justice. So I think being a God-fearing folk is a big part of an attribute of a birther. But I think it goes even deeper than that, and I think also the standards of freedom for a birther is much higher. And by that I mean this country and the freedoms that we've enjoyed in this country and the prosperity that resulted because of the freedoms that we have enjoyed as Americans were fought for, right? We fought a war, and then we fought a civil war, right? To this country, we weren't granted our freedoms. It's like we didn't just like, I guess other nations in the world were granted their independence, right? I don't know if India is a possible example, but there's nations in the world that were granted their independence. But see, America fought for it. We were rebellious against the powers that be, and we said, we're going to have our freedoms come hell or high water. Give me liberty or give me death, right? And so a birther, when he looks at America, he doesn't see it as booty or, you know, the rewards of war. I want to make sure I say this right. There's an attitude about America that it's something precious and needs to be protected, and that the spirit and the freedom of America needs to be guarded and protected and fought for. And we don't see America as some big free lunch to be gorged upon until it's all gone, right? A lot of people in America have this entitlement attitude of they just see America as a bunch of milk and honey, and they just want to gorge themselves until it's all gone. And a birther that considers himself an American realizes that it's a terrible, terrible thing. It's a terrible thing to have a foreigner as commander-in-chief of our military, because that foreigner will never have the attitude that America is precious, America is special, America needs to be protected and fought for and guarded, right? A foreigner will just see America as a bunch of treasure to be looted as much as possible. That, you know, just grab as much as you can while you can, and when it's all gone, well, it was good while it lasted. But a true American, right, realizes that America has a very special place of leadership in the world for people that desire freedom, and you have to fight for it. And I think that our standards of freedom as birthers is much higher. And that's why, you know, I once had a friend, and the subject of the Patriot Act came up in discussion, and he said, well, I got nothing to hide. I don't care if they listen to my phone calls. I'm like, what? You know, there are people that have fought and died to give you that Constitution and that Bill of Rights so that the government just can't call in and listen to your phone calls. I don't care if you got nothing to hide. That's not the main principle. The principle is that you don't give up your rights so easily, because they were just fought for and people died to give them to you. And why would you want to let the government listen to your phone calls? Because you trust the government so much? I mean, it's just stupid. So I would say that birthers look upon America as a very special thing. It's something to be fought for, guarded, protected. We do not see America as just a bunch of treasure to be looted until it's all gone. And it sure was a fun ride. You know, we see it as something very, very special. And for all of you people that don't think it's a big deal that we have a foreigner as commander-in-chief and POTUS, you're not truly an American. You're simply an invited guest inside the house of America. But if you're not a birther, right? If you're watching this video and you're not a birther, you're just a moocher, looter, and a bootlicker. And you've taken advantage of the people that I guess are actually true Americans, right? Americans that are birthers, they're the true Americans, because they are very concerned and are trying to speak out about we have a foreign entity as destroying this country. And let me say this, the birth certificate scandal is the root of all the other scandals. Matter of fact, when people start getting close to breaking the story on the birth certificate, you start to see all this other stuff, just crazy stuff going on. Like we killed Osama bin Laden, and because they have to do all these other false flags to keep people from actually revealing the fact that we have a foreigner as commander-in-chief. And there's just, you know, Chiyomi Fukino lied. All of our mainstream media has sold us out. Bill O'Reilly, Glenn Beck, Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity. But there's starting to be a groundswell of people that have seen the undeniable evidence and can no longer stomach it. And that groundswell, you know, there's a professor that just recently came out and said that he doesn't believe Obama went to Columbia University. When did we get to a point in America where a president says that he graduated from a college? None of the students remember him going there. A distinguished professor says he doubt he even went there, and that's not a mainstream story? You don't think that supposedly the first so-called black president said that he graduated from a college, Columbia University, and there's no evidence to suggest he even went to the school? A distinguished professor at the school says he doubts he even went there? And you don't think that's a mainstream story that should be put in right on Drudge Report, Fox News, CNN, all of the alphabet letters news? They're covering up for Obama. It's just a complete protection of him, because when he goes down, all the people that protected him are going to go down too. Do you understand what I'm saying? That includes Ron Paul. It includes Sarah Palin. It includes Bill O'Reilly. All those folks who protected him. You see, they've made a lot of money, and they've become very popular fighting Obama, and they need their nemesis. They can't get out and give good speeches, and they can't sell books if they don't have their nemesis. But see, there's some of us that can't stomach it anymore, and we don't want to just hear good speeches about quotes, you know, liberty quotes. We want justice. We're going to be screaming for justice, and we want the people that have lied and covered up and continued to profit off of this situation. They got to be brought down. They got to be brought to justice. And the birthers are the true Americans. I'm telling you, they truly are, because they see this country as something special, and they don't see it as just a bunch of treasure to be looted and mooched. And birthers don't beg anybody for anything. I ain't begging anybody for anything. I'm just, you know, put me with a give me liberty or give me death crowd. And if this country can't maintain the standards of freedom that it has had as I've been growing up, then I don't even care to live anymore. I'm not going to live in a corrupted society where gangsters run everything and take away our freedoms. I would rather die. And we've got bad guys that are willing to die to do bad things. Where are the good guys willing to die to stand up for righteousness? I would rather die than live as a slave. There ain't no way I'm gonna, you know, get in my middle 40s and live the rest of my life as some slave to some tyrannical gangster government. Ain't no freaking way that's gonna happen. You think I'm gonna go around showing my papers and letting them listen on my phone calls and track every movement? Ain't no freaking way that's going to happen. There's going to come a time when a decision will have to be made, and we're right at that point. It's right, really, really, really close. But anyway, I wanted to share my thoughts on that area. May God bless and protect the righteous. May He bring a divine justice quickly to the wicked.